Okay, I want to do a quick video talking about what Donald Trump will have in common with Tupac in July when Trump is sentenced. So we all saw the guilty verdict and all that, and I'll do another video on that separately. But Donald Trump has a sentencing scheduled in July where the judge can do all sorts of things, as we've probably heard, from probation to imprisonment to nothing, house arrest, whatever, right? Regardless of what Judge Marchand does that day in terms of sentencing Donald Trump, what Donald Trump's immediately going to do, and I have full confidence that it will be granted, is he's going to ask for an appeal bond. So essentially, the judge will sentence him to whatever it is. Trump's attorney is going to say, well, we would like a bond pending appeal. And then that sentence that Donald Trump is given will not have to be done until all of Donald Trump's appeals are exhausted. Or actually, let me rephrase that. After the first one, if it's denied or granted, or partially denied or granted, then the court can revisit the conditions of the bond. But for a low-level felony like this, Class E is the lowest felony in New York, he's going to get the bond. And even if he loses on appeal, it's going to be a couple of years before whatever that sentence is actually takes place. And so what does that have to do with Tupac Shakur? And I think it's kind of interesting, right? Because Tupac was in a little bit less fortunate state of Donald Trump, because although he was a platinum artist and famous, he actually really didn't have that much money. So when he went on trial and got charged with, I think, rape, sodomy, sexual assault. He wasn't found guilty on everything, but there was a sexual assault conviction. He was given, I think, a sentencing range of 1.5 to 4 years in prison. He ended up going to Clinton Correctional Facility and started serving his time. And how he got out was not because he won his case on appeal, was because Suge Knight, the infamous record executive, who's also in prison now probably for the rest of his life, got the money together and got the bond reduced. And so here you can see his bail was reduced to 1.4 million. It was originally like 3 million, and they got it reduced to 1.4, and then got the money to bail him out. And then, of course, we all know what happened. He was out for, I think, about 9 months before he was unfortunately murdered. And so that's what Trump and Tupac have in common, is they're both going to be out of their sentence pending an appeal because they put up some money. I don't think it's going to be 1.4 million in Trump's case. Again, we're talking about, yes, it's 34 convictions, but it was one act, right? Like, all of this was essentially one scheme. It wasn't like 34 different schemes. And very quickly, for those of you watching this and thinking or believing what some of the spin machine has put out there, that like New York has never charged business records as felonies before, they've actually done it almost 10,000 times in the last 10 years. And think about why that makes sense, right? You're going to charge misdemeanors for falsifying business records. That would essentially mean that you falsified a business record just for fun, right? Most people falsify business records as part of a larger scheme. So I would actually bet, and I haven't investigated this, but I would bet if there's 10,000 felony filings in the last 10 years for falsifying business records, I would bet that the misdemeanor filings is actually lower than that, because again, it's such a small crime, and usually if you're doing that, it's in a larger criminal scheme, which would precipitate the felony charges. And just for fun, because I love to get political, even though I claim I don't, I want to do a little fact checking, because this is just so hilarious, right? That Trump's in the news saying that he's never said lock her up when it comes to Hillary Clinton. So just, because people do save the receipts, we're in the digital age here. In fact, we can get really fun with this, right? Let's try this. October 2016, North Carolina. For what she's done, they should lock her up. All right, here's more. June 2016 speech. And I can't believe I even have to do this, but just for fun. Hillary Clinton has to go to jail. He made calls again to, quote, lock her up in the 2020 campaign for re-election in Ohio at a rally. You should lock her up, I tell you. I just don't get it, folks. I just don't get it. Like, how can someone just nakedly lie to us and still get support? Like, I don't understand, right? Like, Joe Biden is an extraordinarily flawed candidate. Maybe he was the only one that could beat Trump in 2020, but he's the only person that could probably lose in 2024. So I don't know what the Democratic Party is doing there. It's going to make me pull what little hair I have left out. But like for someone to have the highest office in the land and go out and just peddle just obvious lies like this, it's just unacceptable. Like that was his campaign. He was the law and order candidate. He said that multiple times. He campaigned on her, violating classified document laws, and then we're going to have that case that we'll get into next with the unbelievably inept, incompetent, and possibly corrupt Judge Cannon. That's all I really have for you today. If you guys want to see me again, just rewind this video right here, close your eyes, and picture me trolling.